And the African Development Bank is sounding the alarm. Africa must stop losing $580 billion every year due to corruption and illicit financial flows.
Every single year, Africa loses more than $500 billion, not to war, not to disaster, but to waste. Yes, $500 billion gone. That's enough to build every major road, power every home, and educate every child on the continent twice over. But the real shock, Africa isn't losing this money, it's giving it away. It's giving it away to weak trade systems, to foreign dependency, to raw exports, to poor governance. This is the $500 billion opportunity Africa is wasting every single year. Imagine a continent with a young population, abundant natural resources, and expanding cities. And then imagine a gap the size of a mid-sized economy being siphoned out of that promise every single year. That's the scale we're talking about when we say the $500 billion opportunity Africa is wasting every year. The figure isn't a single invoice. It is a way to name the sum of lost value across agriculture, manufacturing, trade, and public finance. The money that could be invested in jobs, hospitals, schools, and power if the continent captured and used its own wealth better. These numbers are estimates from different studies and reports, but together they paint one clear picture. Africa is routinely leaving huge value on the table. The African Development Bank (ADB) and related analyses show enormous annual leakages from the continent through illicit financial flows, profit shifting, debt servicing, and other outflows. Recent work places these leakages in the hundreds of billions, a level the AFDB frames as equivalent to hundreds of billions in lost development resources. Africa still imports tens of billions in food each year, commonly cited in the range of $78 billion annually. At the same time, millions of tons produced on the continent are lost before they reach market because of poor storage, transport, and processing. This mismatch is both a cost in foreign exchange and a lost opportunity for local jobs and agro-industry. Exporting raw materials instead of value-adding them. Africa's extractive sectors are big. Mining and other commodity markets represent hundreds of billions in output, but much of the wealth lives in raw form rather as processed, high-value goods. The continent's manufacturing output is often quoted around $500 billion baseline today, with analysts saying it could double by 2030 if investment and policy hurdles were addressed. That means a massive potential uplift from simply moving up the value chains. A lot of trade that could happen within Africa is inefficient or routed through external currencies and systems, adding cost, frictions, and foreign exchange drains that reduce competitiveness and scale for African firms. Many countries export raw commodities, minerals, cocoa, cotton, timber, and oil, and then they import finished goods. This means highest margins accrue elsewhere. Building processing capacity is capital and knowledge intensive, and African markets often face barriers to scaling it. Bad roads, lack of reliable electricity, and expensive logistics make local manufacturing and storage uncompetitive. Perishable food spoil. Factories run at low utilization, cross-border shipments get delayed and routed inefficiently. Profit shifting, trade misinvoicing, and corruption drain public resources and starve government of investment money for schools, clinics, and power that will raise productivity. Multiple currencies, low financial integration, and expensive cross-border payments make it hard for entrepreneurs to scale across Africa. This reduces economies of scale and keeps firms small and informal. The money Africa wastes becomes fewer, formal jobs and lower wages because industries never reach scale. Lost entrepreneurial opportunities as local firms fail to compete with cheaper imported finished goods. Put bluntly, capturing even a fraction of $500 billion would transform living. A dramatic shrinkage in food import bill as regional processing and cross-border distribution improve. More African brands on supermarket shelves globally, not just raw cocoa and coffee exports. Higher tax receipts funding health and schools instead of servicing avoidable debts or plunging fiscal holes. Calling this a $500 billion opportunity is blunt but useful. It forces a shift from fatalism, we don't have enough, to agency, we are leaving value on the table. The sum aggregates many solvable problems: better roads and power, fewer capital leaks, more factories, smarter trade rules, and finance that backs entrepreneurs. Africa already has the ingredients: land, minerals, people, and markets. What it needs now is the political will and smart partnerships to turn raw advantage into sustained homegrown value. If leaders, investors, and citizens treat those leakages as the crisis they are and act accordingly, the $500 billion figure will stop being a yearly loss and start being an annual gain. If you believe Africa's story deserves better, like, share, and subscribe, because the more people who understand this, the closer we get to an Africa that finally keeps its $500 billion. Like this video, share it, and subscribe, because the more people who understand this, the closer we get to an Africa that finally keeps its $500 billion.